received overwhelming response from parents across different parts of the world to join in the Gurukul classes. Today, we had the, I would say, let me see, third session. So last week we started the first session. Today we had 2 sessions. Actually 3 sessions. Today we had 3 sessions, morning, afternoon we had 2 sessions. So 3 sessions. So in total we have 4 sessions now. So tomorrow will be the 5th session. So I hope parents can bring the kids to the Gurukul class. So with that, let me just start the Enlightened Parenting for today. This is a topic that I have wanted to, share with the parents. It's a very important topic for opening up the possibility in the children through the diet. So let's understand from Swamijis' discourse why he emphasized vegetarianism, why being a vegetarian is best. Okay, so then from that context, you will understand how to guide your children to move towards becoming a vegetarian if you are not yet a vegetarian. So let's understand. So vegetarian as a lifestyle, understand in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, okay? We have been a vegetarian for many generations, okay? See, the human body is naturally designed for vegetarian food. Our inner mechanism, like feelings, thinking, words, everything is designed to function with vegetarian food. It's always been a lifestyle, our lifestyle being vegetarian. I mean, there are many scientific facts regarding like how our jaws are designed, our teeth are designed, all that you have read in the, in the social media or in the internet, why our body is designed for vegetarianism. But today's context is more from the consciousness perspective, besides the social economic reasons. But I want to bring forth the spiritual dimension of why become a vegetarian is good, not only for just slight. See, ancient human beings are vegetarian. Understand? See, so he said it from the Akashic reading. He's revealing this truth. He said that Vedic civilization was pure vegetarian. They were not, they were not non-veg civilization. That means they lived on plants, grains, not on animals, dead animals. They were not non-vegetarian civilization. Maybe there were a few animal sacrifices in the ritual, but that is like in a whole, like 1 year maybe. Okay, so that is really astounding in terms of the kind of numbers we're looking at. So only when the human beings started killing animals to save themselves, to protect themselves, they started thinking that disposing the dead animal is a very difficult job, and they started eating them. Might be a better way of disposal. That's the way, rest human beings started making their stomach a graveyard for animals. Okay, originally humans were not designed to, for meat eating. We're not meat eaters, but because of, when they started killing, they say, oh, how to dispose these animals? So they think like, okay, how about we cook them and make it into a meal? That's how it started. Basically, human body is designed for vegetarianism. Okay. So since the beginning of this earliest civilization in the Vedic, in the India, in the Indus Valley, the civilization, they were all pure vegetarian. Okay, so that is the history. Now, understand one thing: you become what you eat. Okay. See, let's look at the energy of the food, because the energy of food matters how it affects our body, our mind, and consciousness. Okay. See, the food without the emotions or the memory of anxiety, fear, depressions, all this negative emotion, if they're consumed by a person, the energy which they think, the energy with which they utter words, the energy which they act, the energy which they feel, everything will be aligned to the natural source of the energy. You'll be aligned to the nature, which is your inner potential energy, Kundalini Shakti. See, let me just explain a little bit more on Kundalini Shakti. Am I speaking too fast, the Chinese translator? Okay. Let me know if I'm going too fast. I can slow down a little bit. Okay. Now, within the human body, we have this inner potential energy which resides at the base of the spine at the Muladhara chakra, the root energy center. That energy remains dormant, asleep, until we awaken this energy for ascension. That means spiritual awakening. Okay, so this energy is aligned to the nature, consuming non-veg food, because as you know that non-veg, when the animals get killed, at the moment of death, they go through a lot of pain, suffering. In that moment of pain and suffering, they're going to release a lot of negative emotions, whether it's fear, anger, anxiety, because the killing creates a lot of emotion in them, because they're being killed, prematurely. Not that they die naturally; they were killed for food. So naturally, they release a lot of this kind of biomemory, negative biomemory, into their flesh, okay, into the meat itself. So when you consume that, that gets into your muscle memory and biomemory as well, which actually disrupt this inner potential energy, your Kundalini Shakti, from getting awakened. It is not aligned with that. So you must know that when a Kundalini energy is awakened, you open up many possibilities, because the energy is going to raise into higher energy center for spiritual realization, for manifesting powers, for awakening higher intelligence. All kinds of things can happen when this energy is awakened. Not only just for healing also. For healing, when this energy is awakened, you can heal the body. Understand? So unfortunately, the food with fear, depression, anxiety, biomemory, because of its popularity and availability, became a mainstream lifestyle because it's so accessible. Everywhere you go, it's non-veg food, right? So the industry, the food industry, has made it so accessible, convenient for the mass, the common mass. So people choose to go for the convenient food, whatever is there. And they make it popular by advertising, by constantly bombarding you with that attractive food. Make your senses. Okay. Sure, Ma Lala. The food industry create advertisement to make you desire, because it is working on your senses, whether it's your eyes, the nose. Make sure that when you pass by the store, you smell the food. So it's actually working on your senses, your sense pleasure, not making sure what is good for your body. For them, they are profit driven. For them, it's a business. You eating the food is a business, not whether you're healthy or not. Understand? So when that become a mainstream lifestyle, okay, this is one of the greatest calamities that happen to humanity. That means eating all this food that cause depression, cause all the negative emotion to be triggered in our body. And this become a mainstream lifestyle. Everybody is eating it. And if you don't eat it, they think that you're weird. Understand? That is the worst, one of the greatest calamities. That means, something bad happened to humanity. Okay. Remember what I said in the earlier slide, we used to be a pure vegetarian civilization. But of course, through the process of urbanization, industrialization, evolution or the society and the industry or all that. So the manufacturer of food, namely the food industry, the agriculture industry, all that, they are actually moving away from the healthy lifestyle. Okay, so they go for popularity, go for profit. So when that becomes the driving force for food, then naturally we're going to be in for big trouble, because we're eating all the wrong food or plastic food, Swamiji called. See, non-veg is one thing. Another thing is called plastic food. Okay, plastic food is it's laden with a lot of chemicals. They're not natural, preservative, addictive, colorings to make the food looks attractive or can stay on the shelf for a longer period. Because natural food tends to perish much quicker, but they add all kind of funny things to make sure that the food can last on the shelf at least for months. Okay, so all this so-called plastic food, especially they call the convenient food, just buy and then microwave it and just consume it. These are what we call, Swamiji call them as plastic food, because they're not natural. So let's go on to the next slide. Now, Swamiji says, consume only pure food. You need to understand these three words to appreciate what is pure food. Okay, this is from Sanatana Hindu Dharma. Okay, that means from Hinduism, there are three words in Sanskrit. They're called Jati dosha, Nimitta dosha, and Ashraya dosha. Let's look at it one by one. Jati dosha means food getting impure by its nature. If it is obtained by stealing, killing, and depriving somebody, it is non-veg. Okay, like how the animals get killed, get stolen, deprived. This is the way non-veg food is considered impure, because the flesh of the animal is stolen after killing. You kill it, they steal and then they sell it to you. Okay, that means it's not with the animal anymore. They kill it and sell it. So that is first level of impure food. That means the nature, how it is obtained, it's not pure. It is by a lot of violence. Okay. The second dosha called nimitta dosha means by its muscle memory. See, the way the food comes to someone, the non-veg food, meat, comes with so much anger, fear, depression, bio memories in it. Okay, the muscle memory is not pure, which is muscle memory level. Third, Ashraya dosha means by the person handling it. Understand? Naturally, for non-veg food, it is touched by people who kill the animal. Correct? So anything that is touched by a murderer is going to carry that energy in it. So that's why in Vedic tradition, the one who prepare the food is very important. If the person is by nature vegetarian, radiating very pure energy. So when they cook the food, the kind of space, the energy they radiate will come in the food as well. The food they cook by these people will be healing food, energized food. Food that is cooked by a murderer, someone who is filled with a lot of violence. Naturally, the food is going to contain that negative energy. And when you consume it, you also take a little bit of that poison from the person who prepared it. Understand? So these three levels can determine how pure is the food. As a result of this, vegetarian food, grains, is considered pure food because by its nature, it's come from the ground, Mother Earth, as a showering from Mother Earth, right? You grow your grains, vegetable, fruits from the Mother Earth. So it is obtained in its purest form, where there was no killing. Then it's muscle memory, right? It is just growing in nature and you just pluck it. There's no any negative bio memories. Third, the person who handle it, right? So the person who handle it plays another major role. So that is, if it's possible, those people the farmers who are also vegetarian by nature, because they grow the grains, they grow the fruits and vegetables, they consume it. So they are also vegetarian. Then if you eat those food by these people, it will be naturally considered as pure food. Okay. Next. So vegetarian food is natural part of the whole bioenergy. Okay, so see, if you take on a vegetarian diet, the thinking becomes very subtle and settled. In fact, all kind of depression, aggression, agitation actually disappears. Understand? Because aggression, agitation, restlessness come from impure food, which is non-veg, either non-veg or plastic food. See, vegetarian food can also be plastic food. It means food that are not pure in the sense it have been kept for a long time. Okay, so, and it is covered with lots of chemical. So all these chemical also start to create chemical imbalance within our body and creates aggression or agitation, restlessness. So only with pure vegetarian food, let's say organic vegetarian food, you will experience this more subtle thinking. See, your mental groove, your brain groove become more and more subtle to be able to catch the higher secrets of the universe. That means the truth, which is so subtle, only a very evolved brain can grasp it. Okay, so like a lot of these great scientists or rishis, masters from Hinduism, many of them, in fact, all of them are vegetarian. Because they have been trained to be vegetarian, their brain is actually hardwired for very subtle, concepts or understanding, to be able to grasp it, to be able to download, to be able to, travel in an astral level. So Swamiji said that I've seen in my life, in my travels all over the world, meeting different cultures, civilization, people. And I can tell you from my very own experience, people who live as vegetarian, their bioenergy is very high. Their biomemory is very high. I can give you various deeper understanding about it. Okay, so he has said that if you are vegetarian, understand you are radiating at a different frequency. your bioenergy, the God particle in you, and your biomemory is also very high. Constantly, the emotions that are cherished become the source of the bioenergy. What kind of emotion you entertain? If you entertain anger, frustration, agitation, violence, then that becomes the source of your bioenergy. Understand? Because, see, whatever is the source of someone's bioenergy impacts their thinking. It is like a vicious cycle. Just the right food, the pure food, which is pure by its nature, by the person handling it, and the right way it is brought to you. The pure food alone is enough to kindle, awaken the natural energy you are carrying, which is your Kundalini Shakti, your inner potential energy, or your bioenergy. But when you are not aware of this truth, how food affects your inner potential energy, your bioenergy, you are denying this possibility in you and also in children. Understand? Especially for children, they have come for greater, possibility. They have come to manifest a new world, to create a new world, a new possibility for themselves. So as parents, if you're not aware of this truth and you get sucked into the convenience and the popularity of the society, actually not only create we call it an unhealthy body, but also you have actually stopped your possibility, not only just for you, but your next generation. Okay. So that's why again and again, Swamiji said that vegetarian food is a natural part of the whole bioenergy. It means if you are vegetarian, your Kundalini Shakti, your inner potential energy, will be affected, will be impacted. Okay. So with vegetarian food, that bioenergy gives you clear thinking, subtle thinking, deeper level of thinking, which does not come when you are agitated, when you're depressed. Okay? When you eat all this non-veg food, you get into depression, get all this wrong muscle memory, biomemory, and then it affects your bioenergy. Okay? Now, is this pace okay? Am I allowed? And the Chinese translator, okay, give me a indication from the chat if this pace is okay. Okay, great. So let me just continue. The truth is, you become what you eat. Okay. See, Swamiji said one of the shocking truths that he has found is kids being fed with toxic food. Anyway, animal-based or this chemical-based food, which is covered with pesticide, fertilizer, all these chemicals-based food is equivalent to animal-based food, which what Swamiji label as plastic food. Eating this plastic food is equivalent to eating non-veg food. Understand? So violence-based food derived from killing animals and life negative chemical-based toxic food both harm the system equally. It means both stop your Kundalini Shakti being awakened. Both harm your possibility for enlightenment equally. So not just eating non-veg, even though you're vegetarian, but you eat a lot of plastic food. Food that is laden with chemicals, not organic, with a lot of funny thing being added by the manufacturer. So that is also equivalent to non-veg food. it stops your enlightenment. Okay, so organic vegetarian food is not just for health alone, not just having a healthy body alone. It is just one of the positive outcome when you eat organic vegetarian food. It gives you an inner space, a physical system, and a physiological flow to develop higher psychology. See, to develop higher psychology means what? Ability to think at a very deep level, at a very expanded level. Not only your physical system, even your physiological flow needs to cooperate. Understand how the energy flow, how the chemical flow, not just your muscle, your organs, but your chemical flow. Various component of you needs to be integrated to experience state of Sadas Shiva. Because Paramashivoham can only be experienced if all these three are aligned to nature: physical, body, physiological, and psychological. Understand? All these must be aligned so that the whole possibility of Paramashivoham can be awakened in your body and in your being. So because of that, it is very important what we feed to our children. Okay, our next generation. If you feed them junk, then don't expect them to be healthy. Not just physically, but mentally. How can they be healthy if they are constantly agitated, they're constantly depressed? So what you eat contributes to what you think. What you think contributes to what you cognize. What you cognize, what you buy and put it on the plate and inside your mouth matters, because at the end of the day, you're going to feel who you are by what you eat. Okay? So 6 months later, I become vegetarian because I wanted to be a healer. Okay? I wanted to be a healer for to become Swamijis hand. So I decided to become vegetarian. So that was what I did in 2000. I noticed how my body energy started shifting in my yoga, in my meditation. I was able to experience very deep level of energy flow. The body feels very different when you are on parent. And I have a son who is kind of like sandwiched between us. So it took me, I did not force him to become vegetarian. I just cook what I'm supposed to eat, and I still cook non-veg for my spouse at that time. But he, having tasted both, he gravitates towards vegetarian food. Okay, so I think in 2017 he decided that he's going to turn fully vegetarian. Okay, so always pick the highest possibility. They will not. For adult, we always pick the lowest common denominator, but for children, they always pick the highest possibility. So just me living my example, giving him the right context of why vegetarian is best for his health, but also for his consciousness. He was able to catch it and he became a vegetarian. So I never really forced him because I just introduced this understanding and the truth to him and allow him to become independent in his thinking, and he experimented it and he knows how vegetarian food is his ultimate choice. Finally, he chose that. So for parents who are, wanting to have your children also becoming vegetarian, you need to give them the facts, that means the right context of why vegetarian. That's why I'm giving you all these facts now, okay? Give them the facts and then let them make the decision. Don't tell them, okay, I'm vegetarian, you must follow me. No, because food is a very personal thing, right? You can't force them. Anything you force, it becomes a suppression. A suppression will come out as a perversion, which is not what we want. It should be their conscious decision. Going vegetarian should be their decision. You can support them by making them experiment, making them taste the different vegetarian food, make them feel that vegetarian food is actually tasty, yummy, and also, make them feel good. So when they see that possibility, they will be naturally happy to embrace vegetarianism, right? But if you give them, all the wrong ideas for vegetarian food, then of course, naturally they'll run away. So that's my experience. I just thought I would like to share. So next thing I want to share is, see, being in the Gurukul kids, right? Swamijis kids, initiated kids by incarnation. Understand? Their brains are designed for hierarchy of needs. If you just only focus on survival, then your whole energy will be only centered on that. But if you discover there are higher things like self-realization needs, then your energy will be channeled towards higher purpose of life. So if you don't explore the higher dimension of consciousness, which is the life purpose of every human being, just explore the hallucination, imaginary, illusionary dimension of the universe. So that is why for children, all kinds of lower fantasy, all kinds of lower existence. If you are a mother or father or parent who are really, really interested in helping your children of human being, The purpose of human being is to discover the consciousness. So your brain is constructed for multiple possibilities, and you can't keep quiet without using them. See, exploring is your natural basic instinct. All of us like to explore, like to discover ourselves of ignorance and suffering. So that's why when we become vegetarian, when your child is made into vegetarian, they start to discover all these higher possibility in them, which can only be accessible by the consciousness if they are consuming pure food. If they will start to move into multiple possibilities. Okay, they will start to become curious about the universe because they can experience it. Whereas if for children who are non-veg, they can't experience it because the internal system is not cooperating for this awakening. So when they don't experience it, naturally they think that it is not true. It is not possible for them. It is just imagination. But if they are able to grasp it and make it into experience, they know this is a reality, the universe, higher dimensional existence as a reality. So as parents of Gurukul children, you should decide to align what they eat, how they sleep, how they wake up, when they go to bed, everything to Paramashivoham or Sadashivatva. Aligning everything for the consciousness to be awakened, leading them for a breakthrough in their life should be the focus of parent. I personally have been doing that. And I really feel that this is one of the best gifts I can give to my child as a parent, creating the space of higher possibility, higher things for them to explore. Instead of putting them down to exist like an animal man. It means they're in a human body, but they are existing as an animal. Understand? Why deny them when they can be a huge contributor to the human consciousness? Why put them into depression, in the lower existence, when they can be raised to their ultimate potential? As parent, if you are not working towards that, then something is seriously wrong. In the way how you believe and how you are going to bring your children. We're here to bring them up, not bring them down. So here's another heavy duty slide. See, vegetarian diet is for manifesting extraordinary power. Understand? See, with the animal as part of a diet, the muscles have the capacity to store muscle memory and biomemory. Okay, the can fall into depression for a very small reason. Just someone just mentioned something unique, you fall into depression. So because of that, when you're eating dead animal flesh, you are also eating the muscle memory and biomemory recorded in that meat, in that flesh. That becomes part of you. You become prone to that pain that is recorded. So vegetarian lifestyle gives you the luxury of keeping your inner space that happens in your system. You feel light, ecstatic with vegetarian diet. So here, what Swamiji want to share, even if you are a seeker without vegetarian lifestyle, you will not achieve anything. Vegetarian diet is a requirement. He said vegetarian lifestyle is a basic need. Not only vegetarian lifestyle, not eating anything grown out of chemicals, pesticide, fertilizer, additives, coloring, all this not natural stuff that get put into the good for you. Overall, it is good for your enlightenment and your ability to manifest all the powers of Paramashivoham. 463 powers. If you can manifest all the powers, how Swamijis Gurukul Balasans, you know, they are all initiated by Swamiji, and they're of course all vegetarian. And because of that, visible contribution of the future generation of kids, if they are able to do this for humanity, is able to help humanity in this fashion, wouldn't you want your child to be one of them, to be able to help humanity? So let's look at this video. Wait, let me just turn on the sound first.
Dalam main mantra itu kecil મારા ગુરુજીને યાદ કરીને પછી બોલ્યો.
क्या देखा हुआ शब्द क्या देखा?
થર્ડ આઈ મારા દેખા.
કઈ જગ્યાએ? થડાયેલા આંખોની બંને ઉપર કપાળમાં વચ્ચે.
કપાળ છે. અને અહીંયા આ દીકરી આંખમાંથી એક વાર તો દેખાયું લાઈફમાં.
Nithyananda. I am Nithyananda. I am part of the thousands of people whom Swamiji has initiated to be able to manifest extraordinary powers. One of the extraordinary breakthroughs that I had in the past 5 Shariras to be able to carry and radiate him through my body. And he told me that I will be able to initiate all of those children for them to see.
The Blind People Association, especially today in morning sessions. I am surprised to share that most of the participants, they could read words having with the blindfold.
P-O-E-E-K.
So P-O-W-E-R, and he sees R as K. Wow, beautiful.
Beautiful. Excellent. Very nice.
Yes,
Very
so
nice.
I want to just show this piece of paper, and that's exactly what is written.
Third eye as a capacity to make anything you want as reality. Taste the first breakthrough, conscious breakthrough guaranteed. It is all about opening your third eye, giving you first conscious breakthrough. Any human being can go through these initiations and have this superconscious breakthrough, manifest these possibilities and powers. One of the biggest gifts to the humanity from Kailasa is this third eye awakening, even for the born blind, visually impaired human beings.
So as you can see how the contribution, imagine our children is going to make, to the whole world, when these kids are manifesting higher reality, higher possibility, instead of getting depressed, getting into addiction, getting into, all kinds of, psychological, psychosomatic problem. So now let's look at the last slide before we enter into Q&A. So I like to also look at how vegetarianism is the green choice. See, so far what I cover is from the consciousness perspective, spiritual perspective. Let's look at a little bit more at the practical level, the planet level, okay, and how our environment is impacted by, choosing vegetarianism. See, just if a non-veg lifestyle is given up, that means more and more people are becoming vegetarian. That is enough. The whole world will have food. Why? See, right now you see many parts of the world, kids are deprived because of not having food. They are going hungry and all that. Because the amount of land required for a vegetarian person versus a non-vegetarian person is very different. A non-veg person requires 30 times more land for his food. See, like for instance, 30 pounds rice or agricultural products, grains, which we can directly consume, needs to be spent to get 1 pound of flesh. Okay, so the quantity of, in terms of resources required just to get 1 pound of flesh is 30 times more than a 30 times more than a vegetarian diet. So from the statistic, this is not just plucking from there, it is from statistic. He says 30-pound vegetarian food, which we can directly consume, needs to be spent to get 1 pound of flesh. So that means a lot of wastage. Imagine if you become vegetarian, you're able to feed 29 more people. Understand? The implication. So by becoming vegetarian, you're contributing to humanity. Understand? So that's why in the larger global scale, not just individual or country, if you look at it from a global scale perspective, where the percentage of non-veg people is higher than vegetarian. See, over the last people who still don't look at the larger picture. They still are stuck in their sense pleasure, wanting to eat non-veg, but not looking at the overall interconnectedness of planet Earth and the human existence. What I am trying to say is Mother Earth is not able to support non-veg diet as a mainstream diet. Too much resources are wasted. Too much resources are required to maintain that diet. Plus, for the continuity of the human, race. For human race to continue in the next 30, 50 years, be vegetarian. Because when you become vegetarian, not only you can save the resources on planet Earth, you'll be able to give more food to other people. And not only that, the humanity will raise in a big way to higher consciousness, because when it consumes vegetarian food, you're not stuck into the lower existence. You will be able to explore new, subtle things in life. The universe, the subtle dimension of the universe, that only opens up if you become vegetarian. So that is my last slide. Thank you for tuning in. This is now Q&A time. I'm going to stop sharing the slides now. I hope all of you had okay. No worries. Okay, so let's see. Please ask question now. The Chinese translation room and the French translation room. Please ask question. You know, enlightening for all of you to understand about the importance of vegetarianism. How not only affects our body, our system, but also the future generation. Can you imagine if we have fed all the kids with all this non-veg food? What is going to happen? You're going to create a generation of sick people. The kids will be sick very young, and they were never going to be able to experience their possibility. That's why for parents who are aware, who are conscious, they gravitate towards vegetarian or vegan food. So any question, you can type on the chat as well as on the Facebook. Let me just take a look if there's any question from Facebook. Hey, Anandita, any parents want to ask question from the Chinese room? I know Chinese is a big non-veg gang. I was not born vegetarian. My parents were non-veg. But only when Swamiji happened in my life, I decided that, okay, no more non-veg food. I'm jumping. In fact, I was the first one in my family to turn vegetarian. Then now my siblings, they also slowly gravitate towards more vegetarian food, which is good. I was the first one among my family. Of course, my parents, I don't force them. They're already so old. I let them decide. But even my siblings, they're also becoming more vegetarian. So Malala, are there any? How many French parents are there?
At 1 second. Yes, there are a few parents, and Margot wants to ask a question.
Yes,
and
Margot.
also I have some.
You can type, Ma. Type the question. Okay. Or you can unmute also if you want. Okay, you type the question then. You can ask Malala to ask through me. No problem. Okay.
Food.
Yeah.
You
Sugar
mean
and plastic food is two big enemies of health.
plus grands ennemis. Elle parle là, elle répond à une question de... Oh, pardon. And also someone is asking about the eggs. Is eggs okay? And if not, why?
Okay. Let me answer one by one. Okay. First is the plastic and the sugar. Then I come to the egg thing. Okay. Like a taste that make you want to crave for more. And you know that this sugar actually create a lot of mucus and is cancer causing. Okay, it means it create cancer, sick body very fast. Not only just diabetes and all kinds of things, it just create a body very prone to cancer. Okay, so even just by cutting down on sugar alone, you will see how much, not only just weight loss, but healthy you will feel. White sugar, okay? You can substitute it with natural sugar, whether it's honey, whether it's like jaggery. But all these are come with white sugar. Educate them. Because it make them sugar rush, like hyper. And then after that, they get agitated easily. It just imbalances their chemical in the body. They become like crazy, you know, and you can't handle them. Okay, so for me, ever since I become vegetarian, I have the option of cooking my own food. I try to avoid outside food as much as possible. Okay. So whenever you can, cook yourself and cook for your in determine the energy of the food. Okay. If someone is inner space is pure, spiritual, when you eat the food, you'll be healing food. Like Nirahari, right? Someone who is already liberated from the food patterns. If I cook food for any being, it'll be very tasty. It'll be very, very light. When they eat it, they won't fall into depression. They will feel light and energetic. Whereas for someone who is heavy, a lot of problems, a lot of anger, all that kind of thing, when they cook such a food, the person who eat it also get that kind of poison from that person. Understand? So try as much as possible, you cook yourself. Like for me, I trained Kai to cook himself, my son. I started training him when he was about 6 years old. Okay, so now he's 18. He's able to cook himself, and now he's like expanding his repertoire. He's cooking, you know, different kind of cakes, and from simple home cooked food to something more, fanciful, like cakes, all kinds of sweets and all that. So he's able to expand his repertoire. Once you make him interested in cooking, he will be interested in what he fits into his body. Okay, so that's one thing. Try to make your kids understand. The children are very smart. We need to just give them the right information, facts, not based on your fear or your greed. Give them the right information. Like what I shared today, they're all from Swamiji, they're from consciousness. They're from enlightened consciousness. So it's not like, oh, I pluck from the air. It is from Swamiji's discourses. So when you digest that and share that with the kids, and if you want some statistic, you can Google, to find out some statistic. How many people, when they're non-veg, they die early, and how many people, when they become vegetarian, they live longer. Like simple thing like that, to support the argument of vegetarian diet supports longevity, or better mood, or all kinds of things. You can do some research. Many organizations have done a lot of research. Okay, so that is one thing. So I hope I answered the question. Don't go for convenient. Plastic food are convenient. Go for what is right. Convenient food are pleasant. Pure food is right food. Go for right versus pleasant. Understand? Swamiji said, choose right over pleasant. Pleasant means like very easy to get, it tastes yummy, but it's so bad for your body, right? But eating right, it may not be so tasty, but it's good for my body. It makes me healthy. It makes me manifest power. So go for right versus pleasant. Okay? chick, right? That means it's live. That means the egg has a possibility of life. Because it has a possibility of life, when you eat it, it's non-veg. It is killing. Understand? Even they say, oh, it's not fertilized. No, even not fertilized, but if you can get it fertilized, and it's still a possibility of life. Do you understand? Like for instance, milk. You can't hatch a milk into a cow. So milk itself is vegetarian. But unfortunately, in the way how milk are attained now in the dairy farm, a lot of violence are being done. That's why Swamiji say, go vegan. Don't take the milk from the outer world unless you have a goshala. Like in India, you know, they worship the cow as a goshala, right? So that's why Swamiji say, if you have access to goshala milk, then that's best. If you can't, then avoid it altogether. Become vegan. That means take nut-based milk. That means like almond milk, cashew milk, you know, all kinds of soy milk, all milk that is nut-based or grain-based. Rice milk, for instance. So egg is non-veg. Be very clear, because he has the possibility of life.
Alone, but with his father or grandparents, all together, their father will force the kids to eat meat, and it's not easy for the parents to adjust the kids later, to tell the kids later not to eat meat.
Obstacle. It took me so long. I tell you what happened, okay? In Kai's, there was a period I was in India. See, when Kai is with me, he eats vegetarian. But when I'm not with him, the father will feed non-veg, okay? So there was a period. I was in India for 3 months, okay? In October to December 2016, I was called by Swamiji to attend a special training called Nithyananda Yoga. Okay, I was there for 3 months. And during that 3 months, he was fed with non-veg food. By the time I came back in January 2017, he lost all his powers. He cannot see through his third eye. I was so sad. I told Swamiji, you took me away from him. Look, when I came back, what happened to my son? I said, why like that? I was really, really sad because I protected him so much to keep that possibility alive for him. I tell you, literally, I was so sad. So then Swamiji gave me a solution. He said, in June, bring him back to India and get reinitiated. So I brought him back. For the first time, I brought him to India. I was not able to bring him to India for the past because, you know, the husband was not allowing. But somehow I manifested it. I brought him to India and got reinitiated as, into vegetarian again. So then after he came back, he tried to live it as much as he can. And then I again brought him back in December. So June he went and December he went. And after that, that was in December was Parashakti 2017 December. That's it. It means Swamiji installed such a strong bioenergy in him that he's able to make his own decision. Before that, he was very scared of telling his dad. After he came back from that program, he told his dad, I don't eat non-veg anymore. It was his decision. So as a mother, you give the child has to make that decision. Otherwise, you will be sandwiched between the spouse and you and the child. Okay, so that's why the child needs to make that decision. Then it cannot be forced. It cannot be forced because it has to be the decision by the child. It's a conscious decision. And that can only be done with the help of Enlightened Master, Swamiji. So I pray so hard for Swamiji to do that for him. And now he has been a vegetarian since 2018 onwards. After he came back 2018 onwards, he's a vegetarian since then. Pure vegetarian. No more affected by the father or whatever. He just become vegetarian. Nothing can shake him anymore because he knows how many powers he can manifest just by sticking hands. Go vertical, travel in vertical time zone, talk to higher beings, moonies, God and goddesses. Why should I come down and eat meat and become like a buffalo? When that possibility is open up for him, there's no looking back. I don't even have to encourage him. He knows himself. He says, hey, why would I give up something that is so great? So that becomes the motivation. Do you understand what I'm saying? All of you? Just want to go and explore higher realm of existence. So that is only possible when they are fundamental thing is vegetarian as a lifestyle. Otherwise, they will be ordinary kid only in the society, running around with fear and greed. Bhata Varana, for them to become vegetarian. When that happens, you see that there's no turning back for them because they tasted the best thing in life. What for they want to come down? So Gurukul is one way to help them to remain in the high frequency. That's what bring them to Gurukul class. Bring them, they will be able to get the right context why they need to become vegetarian. And they become very natural because they'll be inspired by other kids as well. Authentic. Initially, I was not authentic, but when I became authentic, I make the child choose. The child old enough to choose. See, if you are able to convince your other half, your spouse, about the benefits of being vegetarian and help to make change for the whole family, that would be great. But you need to start with yourself first. You become authentic vegetarian. Then you start expanding your circle of influence. See, like Ma Anna is not here, one of the Gurukul kids' parents. When they came to eat Gurukul, the weekend Gurukul, they were not non-veg. But when I did a lesson with them on vegetarian, the child, that time was only 4-year-old, he started to become vegetarian. And he now become an advocate of vegetarianism. He go around to tell people, don't kill animal, eat vegetarian food, it's good for you. He's only like 6 years old, going to 7 next year. Just by one click that he received, that when you eat the animals suffer, and you're eating the pain, muscle memory, and biomemory, inside your body. Just one click, he just said, okay, stop, I'm not going to eat non-veg food anymore. See the power of the child's authenticity. Same way, when you start them young, it's very easy for them. For older kids, like teenagers, they may have been exposed to non-veg food for a longer time. You need more effort. It ain't going to happen overnight. But first, you understand the right knowledge, why vegetarianism is best for you, your children, even for you as an adult. It's great for everybody. First, understand that, how it impact your consciousness and your possibility. Once you catch that, then you start living it. Living it and expand your circle of influence to your loved ones. But not forcing, no perversion. But out of, enriching. Enrich them. Why it should be done in this way. Why this is good for you. Through enriching, once they catch the truth, they will naturally fall in tune. Understand? I see a lot of people who are vegan out there, and when people are not vegan, they start bashing these people who are non-vegan. And these non-veg or non-vegan people, they become very angry, offended. And it is not enriching, right? Do you understand? It's like they make them feel terrible, like they are doing great crime. No, it's just different idea. They are not understanding why. So instead of making them guilty or making them feel horrible, you should be enriching them why this should be the right choice for them, rather than beat them up. I've seen a lot of outside so-called vegan community. They try to beat people out who are non-veg on their non-vegan. No, so we should say done in a non-violent way. No suppression, only enriching. When you enrich, they will become open and receptive. That's the main difference. So start enriching. Don't force it. When you enrich, it will happen. Just like how I enrich Kai, my son. Became vegetarian. And of course, with Swamijis' help, naturally. Any other question? Have I answered the question, Anadiata, to the parent? Yes?
Yes.
Great. So, I mean, I'm speaking from my own experience. You can learn from me. But I can tell you, it's not easy. It's true. It's not easy. It takes time. Okay? You need to keep aligning to your authenticity. Holding the space that this is the best for your next generation, your children. And keep going, and get Swamiji's blessing and help. Okay? All right. If there's no further question, I'm going to...
Maduka,
Yes.
still have question, but
Okay.
I think the parents is typing, so please wait for a while.
Okay. Especially for the Chinese parents, if you want your kids to manifest many powers. You need to help them. See, for Chinese parents, well, our culture is so used to eating. So when I became vegetarian, my family also was like, how are you going to survive without eating meat, protein? I said, no, I can get protein from other sources. Then the next thing came. When I become near Hari, I just drink only, I don't eat. They even got shocked. How can you just not eat? Each level I go higher, they're like.
And there's some ashram, the monk is eating meat, but still they can manifest power. What is the situation for them? They eat meat, but they manifest power for the child.
Eat a little of meat to keep their body to keep them in the body, because like for instance, Swami Vivekananda, right? He's an enlightened being, but he smoked. Do you know? He smoked just to keep his body grounded. His consciousness is grounded into the body. Otherwise, you just leave the body. So if you're already enlightened and you eat that just to keep your body there, I can't say anything, right? But if you are not enlightened, you haven't realized, be vegetarian first. See, I don't know about what tradition and what kind of powers they manifest, but for Paramashiva, for Swamiji's tradition, for Hinduism, vegetarian is the way forward. Okay, so if you want to eat meat and you can go to the tradition. I have no idea. I have no problem with that. But if you want to follow Swamiji, it's vegetarianism and manifesting powers. All the powers of Paramashiva. Okay.